Shearing is one of the most physically demanding jobs.
They say it's like running back-to-back marathons for a normal day shearing.
With one of the highest injury rates.
Well, actually, I'm just coming back from a knee replacement. About the middle of May onwards, I've been back at work, but I had 7 months off work with that.
But those who love it say there's nothing better.
Bit of a challenge. I like the challenge of trying to hold on to them.
Definitely takes a lot of determination, a little bit of stubbornness to stay with it, because I found it very hard to learn. I'm still learning. Every day's a new adventure for me.
Good job, you're not in the one place all the time. You get paid for what you do. It's a good job, living the dream.
But not enough young people are chasing that dream. So the industry is exploring new horizons. Robots in the shearing shed.
It's really hard to know where a robot could go and what a robot could do, and seemingly the sky is the limit. And I think it could save us an enormous amount of stress in terms of physical stress for the shearers, and it could make that task a lot easier.
Summer is shearing time around Dubbo in New South Wales. At Spices Creek, Matt Mason is rounding up the next batch of his sheep for their annual haircut. While his lambs are bred for their meat, a professional clip adds value at the sale yard.
For us, with the prime lambs, presentation's everything. So if we go to the hooks, it's not so important maybe, but if we go to the yards, like to have sheep cleanly shorn and done well is a big thing for us.
How's the knees holding up?
Hilton Barrett has held multiple world records for his skills with a cutter and comb. But the shearing contractor's big challenge these days is finding wool shed workers and keeping them.
This is our busy season, and I could put in an extra shearing team right now, and we can't find the staff at the moment. And we go through between 200 and 250 staff a year. Some can last for a day, some last for 2 hours, some last for a week, but if you're not prepared to work, this is the wrong game for you to be in.
Australia has 73 million sheep, less than half of what it had 3 decades ago.
So you'd expect there'd be fewer shearers, but not 5 times less, which is the case. Today, there are only 2,800 shearers across the country.
The resources boom lured local workers out of the sheds and into the mines. And many New Zealanders, who've traditionally made up to half of our shearing workforce, are staying home, thanks to a pay rise there. The only foreigner in this crew is Alison Preston, who comes from a sheep farm in Canada.
I'm hoping to make it a go for as long as I can, minimum 5 years.
These shearers earn $3 a sheep, enough to keep 15-year veteran Sam Weatherall in the game for as long as his body holds out.
You only have to shear 100 sheep a day, and there's just over $1,500 that you earn for the week. And you take your tax out of that, obviously, but yeah, that's good money in anyone's eyes.
But the workplace can be rough or downright dangerous. Unlike this shed, built just 5 years ago, many have not changed in decades.
A very small percentage of sheds are this good, like 2 or 3%. 80% of the sheds we work in, we probably shouldn't be in those sheds. But
Why not?
they're just unsafe.
In what way?
Every single way, whether the doors don't work, the catching pens have got broken boards in them, the floors themselves are worn away.
Hilton Barrett believes the industry can solve its labour shortage by improving conditions for workers and designing sheds which reduce the wear and tear on shearers.
He's going to catch a sheep and he's going to come out into 90 degree, out and around. We're going to eliminate that. So it's going to be a straight drag, straight back out, start shearing. So we'll take that one twist out of that for him already.
At his farm near Dubbo, he's building a prototype which he hopes wool producers will adopt. It's being bankrolled by AWI, Australian Wool Innovation, the industry's research and development arm.
Very exciting. It's going to be a big change for the industry.
This is our robotics lab where we are testing different ways to help shearers.
But an even bigger change may be just around the corner.
This is Shauna, our additively manufactured sheep, and so we're using her to test out different ways of semi-automating sheep shearing.
Dr Mickey Clemon is part of a team at the University of Technology in Sydney which has been exploring the possibilities of automated shearing for AWI.
So would these robotic arms replace a shearer, or is this meant to help a shearer?
This is entirely meant to help a shearer. So this would reduce the amount of physical labor that a shearer would need to do in order to get the fleece wool off of the sheep.
A shearer would load the sheep into some kind of restraint, the robot would shear the back and sides, and the shearer would do the rest.
This is very promising, and this tells us, gives us a very good indication that this is possible with off-the-shelf technology. In 2 years' time, we think we would have a product that could be transferred to an industry partner to do the commercial development.
Robotics have come a long way in the 30 years since AWI first funded research into automated shearing.
In the 80s and 90s, the computing speed was counted in the millions per second, and now the processing speed is the trillions per second. This is not blue sky anymore. So you can just pick what you need off the shelf, mix and match and design.
Dr. Jane Littlejohn oversees AWI's research. She has sheep of her own, Dorpers, a breed which doesn't require shearing. AWI is investing $10 million over the next 5 years on projects to automate wool harvesting, including one which would mechanise the entire process, from sheep delivery to baled wool.
If demand's going to grow and prices encourage more wool sheep on farms, we're going to have to look at ways to service that need for high quality wool harvesting.
But are Australians ready to relegate shearers to the pages of history?
I think Australians are ready for innovation. We are one of the most innovative countries in the world. I don't think Australians are ready for a country that doesn't produce wool.
Not surprisingly, shearing crews are sceptical.
In my opinion, a robot can't feel when it's on the skin, it can't work around wrinkles, and it just won't be efficient.
I'm 44. I'm never going to see that happen.
Hilton Barrett says he won't be lining up to buy any mobile robotic unit.
If it rains, if you've got a semi-trailer and you're stuck out in the paddock somewhere, you can't take that semi-trailer to the next shed because you can't physically get it out. But I can get a team of shearers out and get them to another shed to start shearing the next day or the same day.
But Alison Preston can see a bright future, whether she's wielding the shears or a robot is.
And I'd be interested in getting into the company that builds or sells or maintains and something like that. Just anything to stay involved in the industry, really. I'm going to be working with sheep for my entire life, one way or another.